How's everybody's day?
It's awesome. Now
Good.
it's about to get good. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like we are live.
Okay, great. We got Sean now. I just need Josh, I think. He'd hate to miss this. He'll console himself by drinking the wine at home, but
Sweet.
great. We got
All right, and I just got to text Richie, but yeah, we're live on Facebook. Hello,
Okay, cool.
everyone. Welcome to our first of many virtual wine tastings. Looks like we just are missing a few more peeps then. Okay. Well, here it is, little potion in the glass.
People picked me here. You don't have the video on either. Turn mute on.
There we go. Gotcha.
Oh, we logged in.
Yay! Yay!
Nice. I like what you did there, Chris, with the bottle and display. Let's see if I could fit mine. Oh no, I'll spill it.
Now, Josh, it does say that Lisa's said, okay. There we go. So, we're going to get Richie on before we start, correct?
We should. I'm texting him, see if he's if he's having any issues with the password as well.
Okay. Yeah, Richie's a wine guy in Rioja.
All right.
So everybody's got hand sanitizer for your keyboards.
Knees away from the camera.
a few feet away from the camera.
I guess we can go around real quick, just introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
And wait for Richie to jump on board. But yeah, well, let's start with you, Richard.
All right. Hey guys, I'm Richard Arambarri. I'm one of the founders of the Austin, Texas Wine Society. I took sommelier courses about 10 years ago. I'm not officially a sommelier, but I'm definitely a huge fan. Particular favorites are French wines. I know those the best, but Tempranillo is definitely something wonderful to have. So welcome. I'm glad to see all of y'all.
Thank you, Richard.
Nice.
Jake, you in there?
Yes, sir. I'm having a little trouble with. Y'all introduce yourself. I'm
We
still
had a
waiting
little
on this
trouble
live
with it as
feed.
well.
Go ahead.
Sammy, looks like Ashley.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and this is my husband Jack. And we love wine. I worked at the Mark Wine Group for the past year, so I'm a marketing specialist in wine. And yeah, so we're really excited to try this.
Cool. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hi, so I'm Alicia. I'm part of the Austin, Texas Wine Society. I am a wine enthusiast. I've been around pretty much since the beginning, and I'm really excited to see how we're developing, and I'm excited for this wine tasting.
Very cool. Ricardo.
Here's Richard.
Is that Richie? Is that Richie in the bill? Yes.
Okay, so cool.
Awesome.
So this is the guy that made this beautiful stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, man. How you doing, guys?
Good, man.
Great. How are you, Richard?
We all just opened up our bottles. We're excited to learn more about this and in the world of Tempranillo and Rioja, and obviously hear your side of the story as well. So we're just doing some quick introductions for you to get to know who's on the immediate Zoom call, and then also there potentially will be other people on our live feeds. So yeah, we're just continuing real quick down the roster. I guess I'll go next. My name is Sammy. I am working on opening up a new concept here in Austin. It's a hybrid between a winery and a wine bar with the largest amount of wine on taps. And so everything is going to be either in kegs or cans. And so our approach is something that's more eco-friendly and sustainable. But of course, even in the world of keg wines, you got to always sit back and enjoy a beautiful, nice wine. And my friend here, Richie's got a beautiful wine here in store for us. So I think most of us already took a little sip. I think we jumped the gun. I don't blame you. It smells fantastic.
It smells great. It does. Okay, Lisa, you want to say a little bit something about yourself?
Hi, I'm Lisa. I've been in and out of the Austin, Texas Wine Society group just due to my busy schedule, but I can do virtual, so I'm excited to be here and I'm excited to try it.
Welcome. And Jake?
Sorry, I got people texting me trying to get in. Sorry. So I'm Jake Roos, one of the founders of the Austin, Texas Wine Society, and this is our first virtual wine tasting. Please don't mind the technology difficulties. This morning when I woke up, all of a sudden the Zoom call was asking for a password, and I've never had a password before, so I tried to log in there to dismantle it, and it wouldn't let me. So I'm trying to get this password stuff sent out.
Okay.
And then, hey everyone, my name is Sean, and Austin, Texas Wine Society. I am a sommelier, and whenever this quarantine thing is over, I'm somm at the Fairmont Hotel in downtown Austin. But other than that, yeah, thanks for coming by, everyone, and thanks for having me, and happy to get started.
Got a few more.
Can everyone hear me? Just so I'm aware.
Yeah, heard just fine.
Awesome.
There was a Christopher. I think, is he still there?
Hey guys, I'm here. All is well now. Figured it out.
Hey, Chris.
There you got two Chris's.
I'm a career server. I'm at the Carillon right now, or was until about 3 weeks ago. One of the bartenders and lead server over there. I got my Somm 1 certification years ago. Sat from a Somm 2, didn't get it though. But I'm stoked to be drinking booze with other people professionally again. Boy howdy.
It's good.
I'm ready for this. Should we open the bottles yet? Are we timing this out? How's that working?
I've opened mine already.
Yeah, I would say feel free to open everything up.
Trying to figure out how to go.
Please open the bottles, drink wine, and enjoy life. That's all I
Amen.
Okay.
Somebody named Mr. Wevin. Do you want to say a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name's Steven. I, currently work at Vine Vault downtown. We are an essential service, so if you need wine delivered, talk to Vine Vault, and we can still get out and about. Passed Somm 1 last year, studying for certified, although this has honestly made me rethink what I may be doing with my Somm education. Before moving to Austin, I worked for a company called Vintage Wine Estates based out of Sonoma, managing tasting rooms and then tackling special projects for them along the West Coast of acquisitions, you name it. I've tasted a lot of wines across the West, and happy to be doing this. Yeah, cheers to you all, and thanks for setting this up here, folks.
Cheers. If anyone is interested in studying for certified, feel free to reach out to me after the tasting, and I'm more than happy to throw down some great material.
We've got Christopher and also Geneva, Kate, and Josh.
Yeah, I can introduce myself. So I'm Christopher Beard. I work with Serendipity Wines. So in Texas, we distribute this line of wines, Hacienda de Lopez de Haro. Let's see. I've been in the business about 2.5 years. I've studied through the WSET course as opposed to the sommelier course. That's where I met Sammy, actually. We have both completed our WSET level 3 last May. And so it's been cool seeing his project grow actually through this. And I'm so happy to be part of this little event, because this is, about the only way you can socially drink with people these days, right? and really nerd out about some wine. So, cheers.
Okay, anybody else? And then we can probably get started.
I'll introduce myself. I'm Josh Roos. I'm brothers to Jake Roos, one of the founders of Austin, Texas Wine Society. I do more of the marketing side of things. I'm here to learn more about wine, and looking forward to this educational piece that we're about to have. And then this is Kelly. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
I don't really know what to say about myself. I've been drinking wine for a few years. Hopefully maybe taking sommelier one day, but nothing like I want to use for a career or anything like that. Just more of like wine drinking for a hobby, meals and stuff.
Understood.
I'll introduce myself next, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Villacampa, and I'm so grateful to know all these people from the Austin, Texas Wine Society. They came through at the end of the day and rescued us. I'm the founder of the Texas International Wine Competition, and I lived for 10 years in Spain and studied and got my master's in viticulture, enology, and marketing of wine at the University Monasterio in Zaragoza, Spain, and co-founder of a brand from Rioja. But anyway, I kind of do it for charities now, so it's great to be here.
Very nice. Thank you. Welcome.
Let's do this.
All right. You want me to go start?
Before we get started, I'm trying to post it to Facebook Live, but Sammy, did you get something posted on Facebook by any chance?
I did.
I think you said we were live streaming on. Yeah.
Yes. We're live.
Gotcha.
And hello, right. Monique and Kate. Thank y'all for joining. And Roanne, thank y'all for joining us today as well. These are some of our friends from different parts of the U.S. right now that are joining in to join us in our degustation, in our tasting.
Sammy, where on Facebook did you post it live to?
It's on my personal page.
Okay. Let me see if I could share it to the group.
So you just got to go on Facebook and then click from your desktop and then go live, and then it'll ask you if you want to share your screen, and then it'll go from there.
Hey, I just shared it to the group.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
All right, sweet. All right. Sorry for all the technical difficulties, guys. All right, we could go. We could roll. Let's roll.
All right. Let's see here.
First of all, everybody has a bit of wine in their glass already?
Yes, sir.
All right. There's no standard right here. This is us drinking from home, so everybody.
Cheers. All right, can you guys see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, so this is just a really sort of simple wine 101 on the varietal that we're having today is primarily Tempranillo. I always like to. I'm a bit of a wine, nerd. I just like to know knowledge for knowledge's sake. So goofy things like what the actual grapes look like. This beautiful sort of purplish clusters, blue purple clusters. The word Tempranillo is early. That means early in Spanish because it ripens earlier than the other red wine grapes in Spain. And it's actually been on the Iberian Peninsula, they think, as far back as 500 BC, something that was brought over by Phoenicians. So it's been a grape that's been made to make wine for a very, very long time. I like to know where. I mean, it's the number one grape grown in Spain, and you always hear Rioja. It's always nice to know where it is. It's kind of the northern part of Spain here. It's also in Ribera del Duero, which is a little bit southwest of that, and then a couple of other places in Navarra, a little bit above Rioja. Penedès, which is near Barcelona, which is actually where the Phoenicians probably first came. They brought Movedra there, and also in Valdepeñas, sort of in the south middle part of Spain. In Texas, we've got TAVAs, three AVAs. Sorry about that. Texas High Plains up towards the Panhandle, the Texoma near the Oklahoma border, and then all around Austin, the Texas Hill Country AVA. So there's places where you're definitely going to be finding Tempranillo growing. It's actually now it's considered the state signature red wine varietal. So color-wise, and you probably already see that if you hold it up against a piece of white paper or some white cloth, this one is a little more on the medium ruby towards the darker, richer side.
A little bit of garden.
Yeah. So characteristics, fruit. If you're smelling, you have cherry, plum, tomato, dried fig. Secondaries, cedar, leather from the casks themselves. Vanilla and dill. We had a question for Richie whether he uses American oak or French oak for this particular for his wines, and that'll make a difference on what you'll find in there. You'll find more vanilla from the American oak, same as the dill. The oak it's aged 6 to 18 months in again either American or French. Tannins, you've got medium tannins in a wine like this, medium plus. The tannins are the dry effect on the mouth. So like if you've got an unsweetened tea and you taste that, the drying effect that you get in the mouth. Acidity, a medium minus acidity. It's the crispness, the tartness that you get in wine. And then the alcohol by volume, which is listed on every bottle of wine you're ever going to find. These are usually done 13 to 14 and a half. Tempranillos tend to be a little bit to the right of the body and color comparisons. In body, again, towards it is considered a full body wine, even though it's kind of in the middle. Medium plus tannins and medium minus acidity, as it's saying back down in here. And we are definitely proud to introduce the 2009 Grand Reserva, founder Ricardo Arambarri from Hacienda Lopez de Haro. And so we can actually open it back up to him if you would like to take it from there. Ricardo.
Sure, guys. Well, Richard, thank you for the explanation. I don't know if you know that in Spain when we have the same name, it's called Tocayo. So thank you, Tocayo.
All right.
Well, okay. Well, first of all, guys, I'm really, really happy to be talking to you. I have a history with Austin. So I was living there now 13 years ago, and it's a place that I have a lot of love in my heart. So when Sammy told me to make this tasting, I was really, really excited. So I'm very, very happy to be sharing this time with you guys. So cheers for that. Salud. And keep Austin weird, please. Okay. Well, first of all, I mean, all the explanation you said was fantastic. I mean, I'm going to explain a little bit about our history, about who we are. We are a family business from Rioja, based in Rioja Alta. Our winery is based in a village called San Vicente de la Sonsierra, which is in the heart of Rioja Alta. And the guys that maybe know a little bit about Rioja, and if not, Rioja is divided in 3 main regions. So we have from the center to the east, it's the more, let's say, Mediterranean area. The area where we are is the area where it's from the center to the west, which is the more, let's say, Atlantic, the most, a little bit more colder climate. Today we have a very tricky day. So today we have some little bit of frost in some vineyards. So we don't know really the result already, but we think that it might be a little bit of damage. But well, that's life, that we are always looking to the sky and always praying for nothing to happen with us. But Lopez de Haro.
Oh no. We did have a little bit of that before, and he will come back.
It's a little frozen.
Yeah.
Did mention frost, so.
I wonder how long it'll take. Time to freeze.
Sure.
But yeah, I guess in the meantime, while he jumps back on, Chris and Sean, I don't know if you guys wanted to add a little bit more to what Richard was saying earlier.
Oh yeah, but about Rioja and the land, the space.
Yeah.
So yeah, he mentioned being in the heart of Rioja Alta. So Rioja sort of divided into three main parts: Rioja Alta, Rioja Alavesa, and Rioja Baja. Alta is in the western stretch, because Rioja as a whole stretches about 75 miles horizontally across north central Spain along the Ebro River. But the distinguishing factor for the grapes is that Rioja Alta is about 300 meters higher in elevation than Rioja Baja, which is mostly flat land near the riverbed. And so it's not just the elevation change, and also soil change that really makes a very different version of Rioja wine. And Rioja Alta looks very well regarded, more elegant, more acidity, more long-lived, better for wines like a Grand Reserva. And that's because of their clay-based soils. Some are clay-based soils, limestone, some are clay.
Back. Sorry for the.
There we go. He's back.
He's back. Okay, good. He can be way more specific than me, but that's the overview about why Rioja Alta is considered one of the premier regions within Rioja.
Hi guys, I'm sorry. I'm in the mountains and I have a little bit of problem with the connection, but I hope that from now on we'll be fine. So, well, what I was explaining you, okay? So I want you to get whole overview of what our region is, okay? So our region, what I was explaining is that we have a very, very, very long history in terms of winemaking, but it was a big, big change in the 19th century. So you have to imagine 1860s when the phylloxera arrived to Europe. You know that phylloxera destroyed all the vineyards in Europe. In Rioja, we had 40 years from phylloxera arrived to France until it arrived to Spain. So that time is when Rioja started to produce wine using the Bordeaux method. Okay, so we started to make wine, taking much more care about what we do in the vineyard, taking a much more care about how we make the wine in the winery, and a lot of aging in the wine. So Richard was talking before about that Rioja has been always related to aging. Okay, and that is absolutely right. Okay, the classical style of Rioja has always been related to American oak. Okay, so this is why if you go to a very, very classic style of Rioja wines, you will find very light in color, a lot of oxidation in the notes, and a lot of vanilla. But this is not our style. Okay, so this is not our style. Okay, so we are, as I was saying, we are a classic contemporary. For me, what classic is, and this is our interpretation. So for you to understand, the time that I was in Austin, Texas, that was 2007. So when I finished my time in Austin, my father, he had a stroke. So thank God he's fine now and he's all right. But it was my time to take over the company. Okay, that was in 2008. So it was 12 years ago. So in that time, I changed completely the philosophy of the company. Okay, so we were only making wine in Rioja. We started to make wine not only in Rioja, but in other wine regions. So right now we make wine in 14 different wine regions of Spain. Of course, Lopez de Haro is our number one region and it's our number one winery, but we started to make wine in other regions. And I started to change the philosophy of the winery. Okay, when I made classic contemporary, okay, so how we make this contemporary style is for us is very important, is to keep balance. So sometimes when you are tasting very, very classic style of Rioja wines, you might find a little bit sometimes difficult, all this, what I was saying, a lot of this vanilla, this oxidation. What we are trying is to have a lot of balance in the wine. So what we do is all the vineyards that we use for making this wine is from the Sierra area. So it means the western north part of Rioja. We are having, from you have to have an idea, we're having the more calcareous clay and a colder climate. So that means a little bit more medium to a full body and but very high acidity. And we are looking is to make a style that we have this fine style of wine, but the fruit and the balance is the main thing. Okay, so the 2009 that you're tasting right now, okay, it's a wine that it's a baby for me. Okay, this is the thing. I mean, we, Rioja Grand Reserva wines are wines to be kept. Okay, the only problem that you might have keeping the wine is that someone else will be drinking, not of you. So it's better that you drink. Okay, today, that's always better. Okay, but if you have the time and you're sure that no one else is gonna drink it, it's always better to drink in 10 years time. Okay, right now actually I'm drinking the 2011. Okay, that is the one that we are selling right now in Spain, and this is fucking a baby. So this is baby. This is drinking too early the wine. Okay, what we do is he was mentioning that Tempranillo is the main grape in Rioja. In Rioja until the 60s, the number one grape was the Garnacha. Okay, but in Rioja, what happened is that in the vineyards, there was a time, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, that Rioja appellation grew a lot, okay? And, we needed to have the farmers, they wanted to have more quantity, okay? So they needed to have in the vineyards more kilos, okay? So this is why they moved from Grenache to Tempranillo. From my point of view, it's not always been for the better. Actually, we are a winery that we have a lot of Grenache, a lot of Garnacha, and we think that it's very, very important. And in this particular wine, what we have is mainly Tempranillo and Graciano. Okay, Graciano, for the one that you don't know, it's a grape that is, let's say, for whatever you know, it's closer to Cabernet. Okay, it's a grape that has a lot of structure, it has a lot of acidity, and it's a very good wines for blending. And in this particular case, we have a small percentage of Grenache. But as I was saying, whenever during the second part of the 20th century, there was more Tempranillo. There are beautiful old vines Tempranillo that are making this style. What we're looking in this style of wine, it's for having a medium to full body wine, very long. This is one of the most important things, to have a very long wine. Okay, and whenever the time goes and goes, you get more and more finesse. So the most important thing here is to be the finesse and the vino fino, so the elegance of the wine. And this is a wine that for me, I would say that the best is, if you can, it's to keep it, but if not, it's a wine that have a lot of complexity to be tasting with, meat, to be tasted with a kind of full-bodied and powerful in flavor style of wines. So, what I would say is that I want to cheers with you guys, okay? And I would rather prefer that if you have questions, or if you want to ask me a little bit about how we make the wine or anything about me, I'm happy to answer about it. So, salud, amigos.
Salud. Salud.
Really, I'd rather prefer to, as we are in a small group, that I'm very happy to have it that, because we have the chance to talk. I would rather prefer that if you have any questions, and ask you whatever you have questions about where we are, how we make the wine, or whatever, I would be very, very, very happy about that.
So one of the first things you said was that this is early. So we do have the ability to get more bottles from Sammy. So you said to hold on for 10 more years?
Absolutely. I mean,
really?
we just really, one of the things that I can say, Richard, is that I've been tasting tete-a-tete with Bordeaux wines, and I can tell you that Rioja wines last minimum the same that Bordeaux wines have. I've been tasting wines from 1960s, 1930s, and you can have really good wines. I would say that this wine will be in the peak in about 20 years. In about 20 years.
Yeah,
and
I got
2040. Wow.
Yeah, I had a 1999 Crianza Rioja recently, and it could easily go for another 10, 20 years. And that wine was aged on oak for probably 2 years less than Ricky's wine was. So, yeah, those wines have an incredible aging potential, and it's still remarkable how fresh it'll taste even after 20 years in the bottle, 30 years in the bottle. It's impressive.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you an anecdote, okay? Right now, as we are in a very special time, as you know. We are doing things that we normally don't do, okay? So we've been taking a look on the stock that we have in the winery of wines that are labeled, okay? And I was tasting the other day Lopez de Haro Crianza, okay? 2005, okay? That is a wine that in Austin, Texas, has been sold in the past for fucking $9 or $10, okay? Today it's a little bit more expensive, okay? And I can tell you, I'm gonna keep myself 50 cases.
Sure.
That was a Grand Reserva, and that was fucking fresh, and that will be lasting for having barbecue with my friends in a really good wine for the next 10 years.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's lovely. It's tasting really, really nice. I'm on glass 2 now.
I have a question.
Bonnie, I'm very happy to hear a question from you that you've been living in Spain for 10 years. So very happy to hear you.
Yes, my daughter is there right now. My daughter is still there. She's in Huesca. But my question for you is, did you do any Grand Reserva of the 2010?
Yeah, we did. 2010. Yeah.
And
so,
would that be available to us as well?
Well, I will have to check. Right now, we've moved to 2011 as our current vintage. We might have 2010. So I will definitely take a look at that. And if Sam is interested and you guys are interested, I will be very, very happy to keep them out of you. I mean, you are very right on that. 2009 was a very good vintage, was an excellent vintage. But I would say that in my lifetime of seeing the vintages, I would say that the two best that I've lived are 2001 and 2010. And
that's why you asked.
Anytime you have the chance to travel to a wine region, you can see the quality just by taking a look to the landscape. Okay, I've never ever seen Rioja so beautiful in the autumn than in 2010. It was something absolutely unbelievable. The colors, everything. And the wines are the best. So we kept for ourselves a lot, and I will be taking a look of if we have some of the Grand Reserva, because it will be a very smart purchase. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was living there.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I was
Bonnie.
living there in 2010. It was awesome.
Smart move. By the way, I hope that your daughter it's good, and I just want to tranquilizar, okay, everyone. So I mean, Spain is having a hard time, but at the same time, it's a very strong country, and she will be really, really fine, absolutely. And Huesca is a beautiful place. So I hope that everything goes on very quickly, and you will give a big abrazo hug to your daughter very soon.
Gracias.
Can you explain again the importance of the Graciano and what this wine would be like, in your opinion, without it?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you an anecdote. Okay, I have a lot of. This morning, I had a 1 hour and a half argument with my father. Okay, because we're all the time as father and son fighting each other. Okay, by the phone, because he's not with me right now. And we always fighting of what to make the blends with. Okay, so there is something really, really important in making Grand Reservas, okay, and wines to last, which is the acidity. Okay, from my point of view, and it's a little bit different than my father. I think that the key is to find and this is how we make it. Okay, because I overtook a little bit the philosophy of the company, and my father gives opinion, but at the end is what. We do what I say. But, the key is to find vineyards for making Grand Reservas, vineyards quite a lot of age on that. So older vineyards, okay, Tempranillos with older, let's say 50, 60, 70 years, you have a lot of structure, but at the same time, a lot of facility. But for me, Graciano, it's actually something 100% needed for a long-living Grand Reserva. Graciano, it's a wine. We have a 100% Graciano that we only sell in Spain. Okay, Graciano by itself, it's a very hard sell. Okay, it's a wine that has a lot of tannicity. It's a wine that has a lot of structure. Can be a little bit green for what the palate of some people is. So it's a. I mean, when I mean Cabernet, I'm talking a little bit of the structure and acidity. But Cabernet, I mean, you know how Cabernet in California is. It's like very fuller, sweeter tannin. Graciano, it's green. It's green. Okay, it's a wine that it's very difficult. But if you have the blend on a wine that you want to age for that, it's giving the structure and it has the acidity. I don't know if you are familiar with the pH, but it's a pH close to 3, so it's really, really, really high acidity. So it's a wine that for the blend it gives a lot of longevity. Okay, so for me, it's absolutely important. Since my father time to now, I've been reducing the amount of Graciano. Okay, so he was a very big fan of Graciano. For me, so I'm gonna tell you, for example, an example right now. Okay, we are selling right now under Clásica Grandes Añadas. So we have another inside Lopez de Haro. We have a brand of all Grand Reservas, and we are selling right now 2001. Okay, the 2001 that we're selling right now is not ready. It's a wine that is 20 years old, okay? And it has 30% Graciano. And for me, it needs 20 years to be ready for drink. This wine is ready for drink, but it will be better in 20 years. But for me, it has too much Graciano. It makes for the current palate of the people right now, it makes it a little bit harder to drink. So for me, it's important to have a small amount, to have this complexity, to have this longevity. But if you have too much, it makes it difficult to drink for today. Okay, and life is short. We have to drink it. I mean, it's fine to keep the wines 20 years, but 99% of the people drink it today. So for me, I've been reducing the amount of Graciano in the last.
Uh-oh.
A little phrase.
I don't know. Okay, so we lost Ricky again, and he's got a very good post going. But I think the important thing to know about Graciano is it's an extremely late ripening grape. Oh, there he is. He's back.
I'm back. Sorry. I mean, I have sometimes people calling, so sorry for that.
No. Yeah, all I mentioned is that Graciano is an extremely late ripening grape, hence the greenness.
Actually, our Graciano, so I was mentioning something very important in Rioja to know, okay, is that it's been a trend every day more and more, which I'm happy to follow and to see that every time there is people that is making wine from one season vineyard, and that is great, okay? But the classical style of making wine in Rioja is blending from all Rioja. Our Graciano is from Rioja Baja, so it's a much more Mediterranean climate. So it's an area that is much better for as you were saying, it's a late ripening grape. So in Rioja Alta, it's very difficult to have a proper good quality Graciano. So we need to have more sun. So this is why all our vineyards from Graciano are in Rioja Baja, in the more, let's say, Mediterranean type of climate.
So in your style of winemaking, then you would, I guess, is there a benchmark of like a certain percentage of Graciano you would never exceed? Because right now, like you were saying, this balance that it has of acidity and structure and, all these aromas and flavors is perfect. And so like maybe exceeding this would be maybe too much acidity and then lack thereof of flavors, So is there, Richie, like any type of like percentage that you said, like we never want to go? Because you're saying you're starting to pull away from Graciano a little bit more and more and more. But I can see the perfect harmony of like you want that acidity to hold on to that aging, but our consumers waiting that long. No, they want to drink their wines now. So like lowering that a little bit, it's like you want more of that Tempranillo that's going to give you those still that spiciness, but maybe a little bit more of that fruit as well. Yeah, is there any like definite like percentage you're like, no way, I don't want to exceed this?
I mean, like it's here, and let me have the confidence to tell you that it's always in the U.S. There's always a lot of like obsession on the percentage, and this it's like when you cook, how much of whatever you put. It's just a little bit, but it's right. Okay, so I mean, it's not that we never measure by percentage, but let's say if we have to talk about a 10%, and of course, every company and every time it's different. Okay, and this is something that I respect the other wineries that have other philosophies, but in my philosophy, okay, for me, for me it's key that Tempranillo and Garnacha, okay, Garnacha for us is very very important, has enough percentage to have a very gentle style of wine. This is something that is really really important. We are not tasting; we are making wine. And Sammy, this is very important to know. In Rioja, we are absolutely business stupid. Okay, that we release wines. I mean, Bordeaux, that they release wines en première. Okay, they are very smart people, but we Riojan people, we are stupid people. Okay, and stupid. We have a different philosophy. Okay, so we are releasing now Grand Reservas 2001. Okay, so every year we are making wines to keep them for 15 years. So this vintage, that was a really good vintage. We've been making wine for keeping for getting in the cellar for being selling in 20 years time. Maybe my nephews, I don't know. Maybe I go to live in Austin and I start to dance in a
yes, please.
Dressed like a woman, okay? I don't know. Who knows? In 20 years time. We are keeping in the cellar bottles for the future, and in these particular cases, we are having a higher percentage of high acidity and Graciano. But for the Grand Reserva that we sell, that it's more or less 10 years old, what I'm trying is to reduce the amount of Graciano to about 10% maximum, to have this more sense of drinkability today.
And if I can ask, it's really going to depend on the vintage for the blend, if I'm correct, right? So depending on how hot or cold that year may be, or whatever happens.
Absolutely, mathematics doesn't work in wine.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Every year is different. Every year, some years we sell grapes from our vineyards. Sometimes, whenever we don't like the grapes, we sell them to other wineries. Okay, because every year you have to do a different blend, and you have to keep the philosophy. But this is the marvelous thing of wine, that not every year is the same. So, as he was mentioning, you will be a very smart buying 2010, and you will not be very smart buying 2014. Okay, for example, 2013, from my point of view, that was a bad year. Okay, but I like fresh style of wines. So for me, you can have very smart. If you choose the right winery, you can have smart buy-ins. So it's not. Sometimes we try to generalize. So whenever everything is good, like 2010, everything is good. Okay, but in bad years like 2013, you can have some smart buy-ins. But you have to really look and choose where to buy.
Richie, I have a question. So you were talking about Bordeaux, and finer Bordeaux's are usually saved for really nice meals and kind of things like that. So would something like Grand Reserva, be reserved for finer meals, or would it still be had with really good tapas type of thing?
I'm going to tell you something. I cannot find a better excuse to open a Grand Reserva with a chat with you guys. Okay, so we don't need either tapas or food. So I'm very happy. I think this bottle wouldn't be in a better situation than being drinking with you guys. So, but being said that, okay, I would say that being a Grand Reserva it's a wine that would be looking for more fuller flavor style of food. Okay,
roasted meats and things.
Yeah, I would say so. I think that, for example, the Crianza, it's a wine that is much more versatile and you can be having in any kind of situation. I would say that this one, for example, for myself, I keep it more for when I have a chuleta, so a steak, or I have a kind of pasta with game or hunting meat or things like this. I would say that is more for a more flavor style of food.
Okay, yeah, so the same kind of thing.
And for everyone here quarantined in Austin, if you go to your local Target, it pairs very well with some Tillamook cheese and some Columbus salami. I'll tell you what,
Big old wedge of Manchego.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
I like Manchego.
I'm gonna tell you something, guys. Okay, and this is something that I learned of my experience with wine. It's my experience. Okay, anyone will have a different experience, but I don't know why. I don't know why it's connected to something that every local wine, it's always good with the local food.
Yeah.
So if Rioja, we are very famous of having lanchos, okay? And Rioja, we're very famous of having patatas con chorizo, which is a cook of potatoes with chorizo, okay? And we are very famous to have steak on the. So I don't know why. Whenever you travel to Galicia and Albariño with fish or with shellfish, it's marvelous. So whatever, I don't know why, but it's always, whenever you pour the food from a region with a wine, it's always a good choice.
It's a better pairing. Yeah. Now, I actually doing some research. Tempranillo is very versatile. It was listed as going with Italian food, and even somebody mentioned that it because it's mild enough, it can go with curry dishes. So that's very versatile.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Tempranillo is very versatile, and it's a wine that of course, Tempranillo. You were mentioning all the regions from Spain that we make Tempranillo, and Tempranillo from Valdepeñas doesn't have anything to do to Tempranillo from Penedès to Rioja, but it's a style of wine, and this is why it's so successful in Spain. So in Spain, it's the number one grape, and it's whatever we like to drink the most. And for example, I was saying that I'm a Garnacha lover, but what I drink the most every day is Tempranillo. That's the truth, and it's a wine that it goes very well with many kind of dishes. That's the truth.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned that because Tempranillo in a blind tasting format can cover a lot of different bases. It could almost be Pinot Noir that's a bit tannic. It could also be Syrah that's a bit light. It can fit a lot of different categories, and it's one of those wines that can be elusive if you don't know what it is. And so, yeah, it's just so versatile, and I think that kind of speaks to the complexity of the wine. And for a wine that's generally that complex, being no more than a bottle of a California Chardonnay with a healthy ego, that's awesome. Because I think there's these kinds of wines compete with wines that are 3 to 4 times more expensive.
Oh yeah.
This is nice. It's getting better. I'm on my second glass now, and it's tasting better and better.
I was about to ask, what glass are we on? I think I'm already halfway down a decanter. So
I'm about to be on 3, but it's changing.
Hey, I'm on my 4th bottle right now.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I cheated last night.
If you want to have this wine in the best shape, open the bottle, drink it the next day.
Yeah,
interesting. Okay, all right.
I'm talking about the Tempranillo. Spain is not a very big country. Spain is smaller than California itself as a state, but Spain is very diverse in climate. So it's absolutely different to be talking about a Tempranillo from the south, rather than Rioja than other regions. So that's one of the great things of Rioja, of Spain. I'm sorry, Tempranillo. That is the diversity and the different climate, the different styles. Absolutely.
Yeah, I talked with Bonnie, and one of the slides that I had done talked about crianza. Actually, there was one level before that, which is Vinhoven, then crianza, then reserva, then Gran Reserva. The note on Vinhoven was that it doesn't export. That you usually wouldn't find it outside of Spain.
I'm gonna tell you something, and this is my personal. This is my third glass, and I'm being more and more honest.
Please do.
And well, first of all, if you see a Joven back label, doesn't mean that it's Joven, okay? Right. Because sometimes some of the most high-end wines in Rioja, they're with the Joven back label, and they are aged wines. So this is, first of all, that's a reason. But if we are talking about Joven, okay, the real Joven style of Rioja wines, I think Rioja is in that category, doesn't do well. Okay, I've been blind tasting wines without oak, young wines from blind tasting with Aragon, with other regions of Spain, and Rioja it's always doing worse. So Rioja wines are always well connected to aging. Wines that have crianzas and above. Okay, doesn't mean what I was saying. Sometimes you might not see crianza, but it's an aged wine. Okay, right. That's a point. But Rioja wines, they need time. Okay, they need time. Whenever it's a young wine, you don't have a warranty of quality. And actually, we sell young wine, but we've been reducing, and we are focusing much more in crianza, reserva, and Grand Reserva, because we think that is where it's our best quality, best value that we have. And we want to be honest to the market, because the consumers are not stupid. So we are much better doing this than doing a young wine.
Well, I mean, in the price point, I mean, you're drinking better, Grand Reserva than you certainly would other kinds of wines. I had a $55 Pinot Noir from California, and I didn't like it, and that was at twice the price. So I'd rather buy 2 bottles of this.
I'm gonna ask you a question, you guys. How much this is retail or in a place, this wine in Austin?
Too little.
Yeah, man, too little. You can probably find it in our local, because remember Texas, or I would say Austin in particular, our prices are elevated just a little bit because of just how do you say, what's the term?
We got more wine savvy people here, I think.
Yeah, but
or how much?
25, 26 plus tax. I know. So
I'm gonna tell you something, okay? My son, okay? Right now you are getting a fucking bargain, okay? My son will be selling this at $60, okay? Because it's the real value of the wine. So
very good.
As much as you can keep it at home.
I agree. But wait, so are you still eligible, Richie? Just for our viewers? Are you still eligible? ¿Todavía estás solterón?
See, well, I have my girlfriend here.
Okay.
No, yeah, so you have the time. You have still at least 20 years to buy at this price.
Okay. Right on. Man, I can't get this bag to open. So, Richie, I wanted to also kind of open up the floor for you to kind of talk about the other brands that you manage and operate. Because I know, we're trying a phenomenal wine, and also I'd love to get these in kegs. So, Chris, we'll see what's going on there.
I'm not in charge of who puts it in kegs, but if you put it in kegs, I'll sell it.
So, yeah, if you'd wanted to just, Rich, you talk real quick of your other brands. Richie and I guess for some context, so we met during the UC Davis wine marketing course, and actually I had experienced one of his brands in Spain, in Barcelona. There's a really cool wine shop and wine tasting room called Organic and Orgasmic. And I was drawn to it more because of the wine on tap concept. But I was like, wow, this is amazing, phenomenal wine. And I'll let you talk more about that, Richie.
Yeah, well, I mean, like first of all, guys, follow Sammy. I always tell him whenever I see him, he's a very smart and he has a big potential. So follow him.
Grand Reserva 1992. Let's get it.
Well, I mean, as he was saying, actually, I'm gonna look for the bottle.
By the way, guys, this Columbus salami.
Well, we make wine. We right now make wine in 14 different regions all over Spain. So we are a kind of open-minded winery. We think, I mean, we are from Rioja, but we think that a lot of work can be done somewhere else. These are two of our main brands. Natsu, okay, you might be familiar with it. And
yes.
Batos, maybe this one is a little bit less known in Texas. And not only this, so we make other wines from all over. I mean, we think that Spain has a great potential, and we've been traveling and making wine and opening wineries in different regions for the last 12 years. And as a company, you know, we like to go there and show the real potential of Spain. So that's something very important for us. Austin has been a good market for us. Now we're very happy to be changing our partners there, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. So it's I didn't have the time to meet you guys there yet because I wanted to do it, but you know, this virus thing is stopping us for traveling. But you know, I would really love to go there and show you everything else that we do, because we're making wine from different regions and trying to get the best from every region in Spain. And you know, the only thing I can tell you guys is that I'm really looking forward to go there and go to have some fun with Sammy and with you guys, and cheers with our wines.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Whenever you do eventually make it to town, we'll definitely have a big event that we'll plan a happy hour, plan a wine dinner. We'll do something. We'll all get together.
So
try a lot more small bottle.
If you guys are not already following Richie's Instagram and his different brands, y'all gotta definitely check it out. I mean, he embodies the culture of wine, the spirit of wine, and you know, wine is a very beautiful product in that you create these connections with people that no other beverage or social lubricant would allow you to do. Like it's an intellectual beverage, and Ricky just takes it to another level. And so, yeah, I think he just put a link there to his website. So y'all check it out, www.vintide.com.
And you got Instagram where the Austin, Texas Wine Society can follow you. Facebook.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna write it right down. My Instagram. Okay, in the chat. And I'm gonna tell you something, Christopher. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you, you have a problem. Okay, the day that I go to Austin, the next day you have to ask for holidays.
I understand.
We're gonna have real fun. Okay, I like Austin, so I'm gonna take it seriously.
All right, guys. I'll schedule a day off for sure.
Okay, guys, where would you guys like to go with this for now? It's I think we covered just a little bit about everything. There was only a couple slides left, and you know, we talked through them, so there's nothing else left to present. So,
go ahead.
I was interested in what y'all are smelling. I mean, what's everybody's thoughts on the smell and what y'all are tasting?
Leather and spice.
It's kind of where I'm at too.
He asked what we're smelling in your wine, and I very definitely a beautiful sort of leather smell and spiciness.
Graciano, actually, you were very, very right. Graciano is always related to spiciness and leather. This is very typical of Graciano.
But even though 10% is Graciano, it's still kind of makes itself because with Graciano, the leather.
Even
It's big.
with a small percentage, it
big.
has so much influence.
Interesting. Okay.
So much.
Okay.
You were the slides, and you said dill. That as soon as the word dill came out, it immediately triggered in my brain. And 3 glasses in, I smelled it a little less, but that was on the first glass. The dill was very evident right off.
Interesting. Okay. So from American oak as well, I think, right, Sammy? Or
Yeah, dill is going to be very indicative of American oak and maybe vanilla, and then your French oaks will have more of those delicate baking spices like nutmeg and clove and so forth.
Okay. Oh, that's where the clove came from. Okay.
Yeah, I thought this was a phenomenal wine. And then Richie, if you saw on the chat, Bevmo would be a good one. You basically could buy these wines online, get them shipped over. Or Richie, if you happen to have any list of the different retail shops in California that Rowan near San Francisco in particular could purchase.
Actually, I was saying that, being honest, California, it's a state that we are not yet present. So we will, but right now we are not present yet. So.
All right, Rowan, I'll talk to you privately. We'll figure something out. But shipping is crazy. Shipping is crazy. It's literally sometimes it's like $25 for a bottle of wine. It's insane. It's insane. And just so you guys know, there's a lot of producers nowadays because of COVID-19 and a bunch of other reasons that will say we'll do any bottle for $10 shipping. They are giving you a deal. Like when they do penny shipping, $10 shipping, it seems like a lot, but shipping alcohol is crazy, So we'll figure out a solution, and Rowan, I'll get you that information. But this wine, you were talking about how it could age for a while, and the acidity is definitely there. I think right now, in the next 5 years, this wine is perfect. The fruit, because it depends what you're seeking for. Like you were saying, it all comes down to the palate of the consumer. If they're looking to get more of those tertiary aromas in their wine, what is it that they consider peak moment? And in my opinion, you definitely want to still get a little bit of that trace of fruit before it kind of just goes over into the tertiary. Because it's like saying okay, Antonio Banderas, it's like when he made the movie Desesperado, long hair, handsome, let's get it. But then, right now he's still a good looking chap. So, it really depends on what point you want to enjoy Antonio Banderas. Not going to be a wrong answer there. So right now I feel like there was a little bit of that sour cherries coming out, those tart red fruit characteristics coming out, but then you had a lot of these earthy, rustic notes just popping, and it was amazing. And so I would say now, between now and 2025, for me it would be the peak, because at that point it would be acidity and tertiary notes, and I still want to get a little bit of that youthfulness. But yeah, I think this wine was fantastic, bro. And I really say this, guys, I still have, we can buy more from Serendipity. Please keep ordering if you guys run out. But this is such a value wine. Basically, I was selling this to you guys a little bit cheaper than market price to get these virtual tastings going. But even at market value, like Richie was saying, they're overall, I think, Tempranillos from Rioja, whether they're Crianza, Reservas, or Grand Reservas, ultimately are the biggest value in the market at this moment. There's a lot of other cool wines.
Actually, that was true 10 years ago as well.
Yes.
Because of how long they hold on to the wines, dollar for dollar, you were beginning drinking a little bit better wine than you would with a French wine of the same dollar cost.
Absolutely, yeah. I can't express that any further. I've had some quite expensive French red wines that would not be able to stand up.
They don't drink quite as well. I was surprised to see this as a 14.5% alcohol, because usually once you get a little higher up there, they tend to burn a little bit. You get a 14.5 Zinfandel, and you definitely know the alcohol is there. But this one doesn't seem to be quite so.
Richard, that is a so clever question and comment. Alcohol, it's all about the combination with the acidity.
Yeah.
So I will give you some wines from us that are 15.5 in the label, because really they are 16% alcohol. But you will not see the alcohol. Acidity is so high that the el equilibrio,
okay,
it's so nice, and that is so important. You know, it's which is the balance. That's the most important. And you know, in Rioja, it's one of our obsession. I'm gonna tell you something. You know, in Rioja, you know, we are a region that we've been selling our wines for decades. And something that is very important is that we say that we like los vinos, the wines, de trago largo. I don't know if you understand that. It's that we like a long. So we like our obsession as a philosophy is that the wines are fresh. Freshness is an obsession. It's something absolutely the key in Rioja, and it's very hard to see. And I'm talking about other wineries because we are all family here. Okay, it will be hard to find wineries that you have wines that are wines that you have a glass and you don't want more. So you might have other defects, but the drinkability, the freshness, it's absolutely key in Rioja. It's one of our obsessions.
And we find wines here, like I said, 14 and a half, 15, 16, that they burn. I mean, you don't want a second glass. So.
Yeah, that was one of the things that really surprised me. I opened this wine up at like 6:30 in the morning, and because I didn't really sleep very good last night, and so I was like, well, we'll open up the wine and we'll try it. And one of the things that just really burned into me about the wine was how elegant and how much finesse the wine had, being 14.5% alcohol, being from such a hot vintage like 2009 in Rioja. Just how like balanced the wine was, and I think some of the Gratiano might have some part to do with that, with how much acidity was retained in the wine. But yeah, I couldn't get over how fresh it was.
It's lovely. It really is.
You know, at the end, it's a matter of choice, and you know, there are other regions in Spain that they've been focusing in the U.S. making like really jammy style of wines, and I think for me that's not being honest. Okay, so I think that we have to make the one. You know, I think that it's a mistake to make a wine thinking of a market. Okay, so I make the wine whatever it's our specialty in Spain. Okay, and I understand that there will be some people that, you know, they're used to jammy Merlot or Cabernet from Napa. Okay, I get it. But, you know, whatever, the people who drink it, I want them to enjoy the reality of Spain.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and that is my obsession in that.
Amen.
That's wonderful. I'm really, really happy with this tasting because this is delicious.
Yeah, I still got a quarter of a decanter to go.
Like it going, guys. Well, I know that is earlier for you guys than for me. What time is it right now there?
3 o'clock, 3:07.
Okay, good.
I have a question. It's my understanding that some Spain wineries in recent years have taken their grapes here to Texas to grow the Tempranillo in our region. Is that something you guys have thought about doing with your winery?
Whoa.
Say, can you repeat that? If we are thinking of going to Texas to make wine, this is what you ask?
Yes, bringing your Tempranillo grapes here to produce that wine out of Texas.
Well, it's not our point. So I mean, like we, you know, I honestly, and it's not to be like wow, showing off or whatever. The only really serious Tempranillo quality I've been drinking in the world is from Spain. I cannot say the same with Garnacha. I cannot say with other grapes, but with Tempranillo, I can say that. And I've been tasting Tempranillos. Actually, there is another question for another day, for if you want to listen to me for another 30 minutes, that we were about to start making wine in California. Like, this close. This is the goal. But you know, I mean, like, you know, when we already had the vineyards chosen, we already had the winery to make the wine there chosen, the winery, everything was chosen. But we had to not make a handshake, to sign a contract that in Spain we are too Latin on that. We always hate to sign contracts, okay? To sign a contract of the grapes in March, okay? That in March, you don't know how the year is going to be. And actually, it was the year of the fire in California. I think it was 2016 or 17? 17? 17, okay? That was that year. We were about to start making wine. And thank God that we didn't do it, okay? And, but, one day, because I love your country, guys. I love it. And one of my challenges in my life that at some point I will be making Mediterranean style of wines. So that means Mourvedre, Grenache, Pais, which for you is Mission style of wines. I will be making at some point in the Western coast. One day.
So Richie, so back in, was it 76? They called it the Judgment of Paris, and they sent California wines to be blind tasted with Burgundies, and they surprised the heck out of them that there were some wines that rated up there with Domaine de la Romaniconti and things like that, and they call it the Judgment of Paris. So maybe someday we'll have the Judgment of Madrid or something where Tempranillos from Texas surprise you.
Yeah, we'll see. I wish that at some point, really, Tempranillo elsewhere will be like really quality. And I will tell you something. I love Spain. Okay, I'm from Spain, but I will be very happy to be making wine at some point in Texas and living in a ranch in Texas. So I'm an open-minded person. So I'm very happy to see it. So,
and I personally believe, I like wines to be representative of their country. I don't. If I want a French wine, I want it from France. If I want a California wine, I want it from California. I don't want California doing France or Argentina doing France. So I do like those regional characteristics. But I personally did not care for Texas wine. As recently as 10 years ago, I would go to the Texas Wine and Food Foundation, and it would just be hard thing to drink. There was just nothing that you could really find. And when I went to the international wine competition here in late January, there was some very nice things. And we went on a tour of a few wineries and was very surprised that there's some really great Texas wines. Now, reds. We made some whites early, which was pretty good. But again, they're going to be different. Because I do believe in terroir and the ability to tell the region where a wine comes from. So it's not a we'll show you someday. It's like maybe you'll enjoy something from our region as well.
Absolutely, and I'm gonna tell you something. Talking about wine, we have to take the time very seriously. And Texas is a very young wine region.
Absolutely.
And you have to take time, and something very, very important. For example, for me, it's a very great example, Oregon. Okay, Willamette Valley.
Oh, yes.
They are making an amazing one, but they have created their style, and that is amazing. That is the most important.
Very good.
Texas needs to find their path and their style and their specialty, and it will happen at some point. Absolutely. This is a lesson that I've learned. Okay, I've been growing, Riesling. I've been growing Gewürztraminer. I've been growing crazy grapes like this in Rioja, which at the end I learned that they were not the best thing to do. Now I'm a specialist. My specialty is going back to the roots. Tempranillo, Graciano, Garnacha. And, at the end you have to find whatever, our grandfathers, we think they were stupid, that they knew what they were doing. So if they tried Tempranillo, Garnacha, Graciano, it's because they knew that they were the right grapes to grow.
Well, they were trying to make Pinot Noir here in Texas for a little while. It didn't work. They were ripping up, all kinds of things to put in Chardonnay. With some success. Again, they did better with the whites, and now they're actually doing quite good stuff with the reds. A couple of the wineries that we visited here a couple months ago were really quite amazing.
Yeah.
So it's
and
it takes time. It takes time.
And then Bonnie just put on the chat that, one of the reasons why she started the Texas International Wine Competition was because somebody gifted her Tempranillo. So Tempranillo right now is a wonderful grape. The basically the sign of a beginning of a new chapter of hope, essentially. And Richie, I think next week, I'm kind of plugging it in already, but next week we're gonna have a tasting with I won't say it yet, we'll announce it soon, y'all. But we will have a tasting with a Texas wine producer, and we're going to feature a Tempranillo so that we can cross-compare what we experienced this week with, what we get locally, essentially, and kind of see where we stand. And like you said, I think when it comes to like the classification system in Rioja, we won't have that in place because we are a market that thinks about drink now. Drink as soon as I produce it. How fast can I sell it? Because we're trying to survive. We don't have that history of tradition and generations involved in the winemaking process. We need to make that money quick because otherwise we're going to go down. And then you got COVID, and then you're like, oh crap, how do I make money during this pandemic? So, so our focus right now is to create an identity. It's hard. We're definitely in the infancy stages here in Texas, but there is potential. And I think a lot of Mediterranean style or Mediterranean varietals are working very well here. Montepulciano, Tempranillo, Mourvedre. They're doing phenomenal. So I invite you to come back, bro. Hey, we got a few real estate agents here in our chat today. So we'll look into a house. I'll be your roommate, your girlfriend. We'll split the house. I'll take a quarter, you take 3/4.
Sammy, I will be very happy to join that meeting and with a lot of respect of what you guys are doing. But definitely, if in Texas, I don't know. Well, I know the Austin climate because I live there, but I'm not an expert on that. But I can say that definitely it makes much more sense to grow Tempranillo, Syrah, or grapes like Mediterranean grapes rather than Noir. Okay,
for sure.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of these are being grown at the Panhandle, so quite a bit north. 300 miles north of Austin.
Yeah. So this is why I don't know the climate. So I know nothing about that.
Yeah, and sadly, we have a few little indigenous bugs that kill vineyards. So,
my other thing to say about Texas too, it gets quite hot here. It's pretty hard to get grapes to the right phenolic level, getting to the right Brix point at the right time. It's that's probably the biggest struggle with making Texas wine is getting the wine to the right ripeness level at the right time.
Well, right on, guys. I think we got like one more question so that Richie can go to sleep. And
not to sleep, I go to party.
Oh, there you go.
Quarantine party because there is no quarantine party.
I've actually had dinner in Madrid at 2:30 in the morning, and the place was packed. I mean, absolutely packed. And I was surprised that they actually charged me kind of like a late dinner fee. And it's like, wait a minute. If I was the only one there, I can understand that. But the restaurant was full for dinner at 2:30 in the morning.
I would say, Richie, to close us out, what has been your best memory with this wine? Or, you know what, let's make it a little bit more broad with any Grand Reserva, because obviously this is like your highlight of your wines when it comes to Lopez de Haro, and you're about to share with some really cool people or really special people in your life at that moment. So what has been your greatest memory sharing a bottle of Grand Reserva, whatever vintage, whatever label, I guess, too? Just,
I'm gonna tell you something. Okay. So once I did a blind tasting, with sommeliers and journalists, and in the blind tasting was pizza. My girlfriend is there. Ven aquí. She's talking to someone else. So we did a blind. Ven aquí para que te veas.
Hi. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? How are you?
Good. A little drunk now.
Okay.
I like a little.
Once we did a blind tasting with the Spanish sommeliers. Spanish sommeliers that we did a blind tasting of Bordeaux 2000 and Rioja 2001, our wine, and others. Okay? And I can tell you that we got in a totally blind tasting, Rioja Grand Reserva, they got the best. Okay?
I believe it.
So maybe this is the day that we show the real potential we know. But
there you go.
I mean, like, that for me has been, like in terms of to be proud of what we make, because, Rioja, we are selling, so people, consumers in Austin, they're happy to pay $50 for a bottle of Bordeaux, and, they're shy to buy a bottle of Rioja for $25. And, it will take time for us to show the difference.
But things like this is what helps change minds.
Absolutely, yeah. And we do this kind of thing, Richard. And I will be happy, Christopher, whenever I go to Austin, if you want to make a tasting like that, I will be absolutely happy to make it, man. To have a group of people and, hey, blind tasting.
We'll see what we can do. Well, I know they're anxious to get you down here because we just started selling these wines here at the beginning of the year, and we're super excited to have them. And we want to bring producers in as soon as we're selling the wines. So the second travel's allowed to be down here.
Because we are limited on our Spanish restaurants, but we do have a few. So make sure that these are featured in.
Barlata. I think that's it.
Yeah.
At Garrison we got some killer octopus with the Mola Verde. I don't know.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm telling you, just keg it, bro. Just keg it. Put it in. Ship it to Austin.
Sammy, that we're crazy enough to keg Grand Reserva. If fucking need it, man.
I'll fucking buy as many as you want, man. This is phenomenal stuff. I mean, but only if you come, like you said.
Grand Reserva will be complicated because we have it all in bottle, but other kind of wines we will be very happy to make it.
We will do it in house.
Sammy, we need to talk food. I'll help you make sure the wine, the food is up to par with.
Oh, absolutely. Wine. Well, thank you guys. I think we've done phenomenal. I think we've exceeded the 1 hour mark, which is amazing. Yeah. I love it.
Hour 22. Yeah.
So Ricardo, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us today, and everyone that participated. Thank you so much for your questions, for your participation, and I'll still stick around and drink with you guys if you guys want to stay on the call. But feel free to log off and do as you please. And I'll tell you what. Once again, Target has the best hummus right now, and they have.
You're making me hungry, dude.
Snickers. Are you hungry?
Snickers goes with Rioja.
Oh man, could be.
Before anybody logs off, I just want to say thank you for coming to the virtual wine tasting. Like I said, things have changed, and we're trying to make this something to do weekly here. And one of the things that I want to say is with the group, we're going to throw on a contest. I and the Austin, Texas Wine Society is giving away a free bottle of this that we've already purchased to anybody who we're going to keep track on how many people share out our group and invite as many friends as possible to the group who you think would enjoy wine, and then we'll send out the free bottle and go from there. Like I said, next week we are going to have a surprise guest, somebody from the Texas region. Like Sammy said, we don't want to spill the beans just yet. It will be a Tempranillo, and it'll be pretty cool. I know Sammy has how many bottles left you have of the Lopez de Haro?
Man, we had just under a case, but after this tasting, Chris, I might have to hit you up for another one.
We got it. The supply flow is healthy, so we're ready to set you up.
So if you want to purchase another bottle of the Lopez de Haro and taste it with the Tempranillo, the Texas Tempranillo that we're going to bring on next week, and it will be mentioned here real shortly. We just got to get the marketing ad stuff and up and running, but it's pretty big name here in Texas. So looking forward to that. Like I said, thank you so much for everybody who has been on this call, everybody who supported the Austin, Texas Wine Society, who supported Wanderlust Wine Company. We're all about promoting wine, and just very grateful for this group.
And Richie, we invite you to. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I was going to say, nice meeting all of you. I have kid duty here in a minute. I really should log off. Great meeting you, Ricardo.
Thank you, Chris.
Nice seeing you. I hope you guys in the future.
Yes, Ricardo, I want to appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be on this call and just tell us some wonderful things about your wine and Spain and just the educational piece and knowledge that you bring. And I just appreciate everything that you've done for us. Thank you.
Well, I mean, I just want to thank you guys. I mean, it's been amazing. Austin, I keep it in my heart, and I'm really looking forward to whenever this thing goes on, to go back to visit this marvelous city that I have so much fun. I've been kicked off by the police in 6th Street when I was I was 21. Okay, so I've been kicked off. They didn't understand what Spanish guy was on, and this about not drinking in the street for me was very difficult. I've been lucky to not be in the jail. Okay, I keep really good memories, and I had so much fun there, and I have a big part of my heart in that city. Really. So I'm really looking forward to go back there. And, I just want to tell you, Spain is 2 weeks ahead of the US of what this shit is going on. The morale goes down, up, and I just want you to take it easy, okay, to be, because this is what is happening here, okay? It's a mierda, okay? This is what is happening, but we have to keep strong, and I want you to be strong and to keep it that way, and to think that life goes on, and that we all together, we will go on, and we will enjoy having a big hug together at some point together in the near future, okay? So I want to cheers for that, and to cheers for you and your health, and that keep Austin weird, amigos.
Salud.
And Ricardo, I want to thank you too. Awesome. We appreciate you coming on. And, fortunately, with what's going on in the world, I think, this is helping us come closer to unite as a whole. And we are actually getting the opportunity to enjoy, the company of people from around the world. So I appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, man. And
so, Sammy.
Yes, sir.
Happy to see you. Happy to follow you. Happy to support you, man.
Thank you so much. I mean, Richie, from the bottom of all of our hearts, I think this has been a phenomenal first tasting for the Austin, Texas Wine Society, for Wanderlust Wine Company. And I will sponsor your trip to come down here just to have you here, not even your wines, just for you to come. And we'll have a good time. So Chris Beard, he already took off. He's got baby duties. Well, hopefully he gets time off of his baby duties too. So I think, Ricardo, if you are also free, so Austin Texas Society, and this is for everybody to know as well, every year the Texas International Wine Competition happens place at the at the end of February this year? No, is it
end of January?
It will be the end of January. It'll be the 28th through the 1st of 2021. January 28th will be the judges' welcome reception.
So, I mean, Ricardo, if you're a free man, we would be more than honored for you to come, especially because, as we were talking about during this conversation, we are having an insane amount of Tempranillo entries coming in every year, increasingly every year. And so for you to come in and say, like, this is a prime example of the typicity of Tempranillo could be great. I mean, obviously we gotta look at different factors, like what is working in the market, what was the winemaker's intent here, et cetera, terroir. But having somebody like you participate could be huge for not only the competition, but as Texas as a whole. As we try to come up and promote our terroir, our wine region. So yeah, I think this is the beginning of something greater, and I'm so excited to share a glass with every single one of y'all.
Very nice. Yep.
Now I'm about a quarter left in my decanter, and I don't know if you guys can hear, but I already got my flamenco music going on. Oh, I'm doing good.
Can I say something
Please.
to everybody?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I would like to say something to everybody about Spain. So I lived there for 10 years from about 2001 till 2011. And I was completely immersed in the wine industry there, specifically Rioja Alta. When I came back to Austin, one thing that a lot of people don't know, and I think a lot of people in Rioja in Spain don't realize, is that the denominations of origin, the regulatory councils have laws and rules. And it's against the law for Spain to play with a wine. Like they're not allowed to just add a lot of sugar or cherry flavors or anything like that. So I think that's what Ricardo was being very passionate about, was making real wine, not manipulating it, not getting it all jammy and stuff like a lot of the publishers and magazines want. And so my goal in Austin was to increase the knowledge of Spanish wine. So I did a lot of wine tastings for charities, and my wine tastings were always Rioja, and I would do a cosecha crianza reserva, and I was just teaching people about it. So in other words, what I'm trying to say basically is that they're not allowed to manipulate the wine. The residual sugar is less than 2 grams per liter of almost all wines that come out of Spain. It's not gonna hurt you if you're diabetic, if you drink a little, if you're cautious with your drinking. It's not gonna play with your hormones. The added sugar and the added flavors and stuff that other regions are allowed to do really plays havoc with our health. Okay, and so I'm huge, and especially right now with the coronavirus, nobody should be consuming sugar, at least as little as possible, because that seems to be an exact factor that is not very healthy. Now, if you're consuming sugar that's less than 2 grams per liter, you're talking about, if you're doing Rioja wines or wines from Spain, you're talking about no added sugar. So it's natural sugar. It's a difference between dumping. I think Americans eat 55 pounds of sugar a year or something crazy. But my point is that you're always safe with Rioja wines, especially from Ricardo, and you will never ever get a hangover from a wine that is not been manipulated. So those are very important factors. And I think that the Spanish producers miss that. I think, and it's a shame that this guy's not still on here, but the guy who works from Serendipity, I think it is. But these are super, super important facts, because I'm like this health advocate. I mean, I'm super into health, and I don't believe in eating and drinking manipulated products. So I'm just saying, I think that's something that Spain is really missing out on from a marketing standpoint.
Being able to promote that, right?
I think
and I will have to say that I have to talk to Mike about my colleagues in the industry, and that in Rioja, adding sugar to the wine is like another world. Okay, so that just don't happen. So it's for ages. So it's everyone that you will be drinking of Rioja is just a natural wine, 100%.
Yeah. And I think that goes for most of Europe in general. If there aren't laws already stipulating against the addition of acid or chaptalizing with adding sugar to the wine, then if there aren't already laws preventing them from doing that, it's not even a cultural thing anyways, versus where in places like California, for instance, that's very common, the use of mega purple citric acid or whatever acid they're using to add more acid into the wine, and then of course chaptalization with adding sugar.
I have to say goodbye. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Big hug. Thank you so much, Ricardo. I see you in Austin in the near future. Take care. take this very seriously, and let's take this. Let's hope that this goes very, very quickly, and we soon can take abrazos together and have a lot of fun in bars and restaurants.
Hasta luego, Ricardo.
Thank you so much for coming.
Cheers, my bro. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. That's half a bottle in. I need to get some food.
Oh man, I've been munching through this whole chat. I love it.
I was not smart enough to do that.
I feel like Sammy was the only one who had enough brains to grab a snack for the.
Now I want Spanish food.
I thought we were doing like a wine pairing. Like
get it.
This all escalated as we were going, and honestly, like being our first wine tasting, like definitely y'all that were on this call, like give us your feedback, like on what you would want to see, what you don't want to see, stuff like this, so that we can tailor it more for the next one. But I think it went great in terms of us getting a quick run through of what we're expecting to get from the wine, and then just
what you got there, Bonnie.
You got some bites.
This is for you, Richard.
Oh, you found it. Thank you.
From Spain. From France.
I am looking forward to that. She's got some duck
off at your doorstep.
She's got some duck confit for me.
Oh man, that sounds great right now. I'm like pigging out. Like this has been my day off, and it's like I love it.
I was happy last night. I finally got some fresh salmon to make, because it had been sort of chicken and Italian and meat, and that's been going on for weeks. And finally, like, okay, I'm done. I need fish, fresh fish, and I made a really nice salmon with asparagus last night. So I was a happy man.
Hey Richard, you cooking dinner tonight? We'll head on over.
There you go. Hey, if we all wear the environment suits,
yeah,
we could do that.
Hey guys, I want to quickly introduce. So Monique Miller's on the call right now. She came in close to the end of our call. She
sorry, I'm on my phone, and my boyfriend's on call, and he was taking a work phone call for part of this, and then I lost my internet connection, so I'm like, it was my first time to use Zoom to do, so I was like, this was an experience in multiple ways.
Oh yeah,
I love it. Are you using a green screen?
I had a great time. Thank you so much.
Where are you? Where are you calling in from?
I'm in my apartment. I'm on my cell phone.
Here in Austin?
Austin.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I wanted to introduce Monique real quick. So she runs all of the events here at Residences of Saltillo, where I'm currently living at. And, hopefully, so we're trying to do that one on Wednesday here for our residents. We'll see how the participation goes, but we'll be featuring the Shandong sparkling wines. And, as Austin, Texas Wine Society, if we ever wanted to do something that could help, promote an event here at a residence of Saltillo, this could be, Monique definitely, shine a light, and we can keep this conversation at another point. But yeah, I think this is great in terms of what we've got going on, and hopefully one day, once all this is over, we can do this in person, and then the interaction is just so much more fluid and organic and like in the moment, But
I think for the medium, for it being different. I mean, I've done video chats with colleagues in Asia and Europe forever. So I mean, this is normal. I've never drunk wine while doing it, so that's a brand new experience.
Man, this is great. I mean, geez, a whole bottle. I was just going so smoothly. I love it.
Yeah, like I said, I need to get some food in me. So, but anyway, so I'm going to sign off. But I want to thank you guys. I think this was terrific, and I'm looking forward to next week. And
I love the presentation, Richard. Thank you so much for putting that together. I really appreciate that.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Everything was great.
Thank you, Bonnie. And we'll talk to you soon.
Everybody.
Cheers.
Bye.
All right, bye guys.
Santé.
They're gonna buy your food as well. So I'll catch you later. Thanks for having us.
I'll be here eating my Snickers and drinking some wine. And And yes, Chris, you're right, dude. Any excuse to get lit at 2 p.m. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure. That's the way I see it. Like, I was telling my wife, no. It's a in-depth wine experience. I swear. I'm not just getting drunk in our bedroom, okay?
I mean, you can't share the bottle, right? It's not really a wine tasting. It's more like a wine gulp. I don't know.
Guys, don't forget the 2010 that you can find. Whatever Rioja 2010s you can find, they are amazing. Like he said, the two best vintages in his life.
Dang. Wow. I'm gonna see if what I'm gonna try to do is I'll talk to Richie.
It doesn't matter as long as it's Crianza, Reserva, Grand Reserva. It doesn't matter which qualification. Of course, Cosecha you don't want the young wine because it's too old. But Crianza, and they're all sold out anyway, I'm sure. But Crianza, Reserva, and Grand Reserva are the way to go for holding. Fabulous.
Dang.
Just drinking right now.
Bonnie, do you hold any at this point, like from your travels? I mean, like he was saying, we are such a drink now generation, and I mean, Tempranillo, they've tried to adapt between the world of Bordeaux and the U.S., and they're like, what do we do? But they're trying to feed towards us because, who's this? Jesus, sorry guys. All right, my bad.
So, but everybody has different philosophies on that. I have my personal preference. I've been traveling to Spain. I have 2 children that are half Spanish, so I've been traveling to Spain for over 35 years. One of my daughters is still in Spain. The other one came back last year. So, everybody has their own opinion, and my opinion is I don't want to wait 40 years to drink a Grand Reserva.
Oh yeah,
personally. And the opinion of the winery I was associated with was drink now. They don't release it till it's ready to be drank. So whenever you know that something's out on the market from Rioja, it's ready to be drank.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. Yes, can it get better? Yes, because because wine has that life cycle where it's vinification, drink, and then it goes downhill. So definitely pick up as much as you can of the 2010. And be safe and know safe that anything you buy from Rioja, it is not legal to chaptalize it. You're 100% safe, no problems with diabetes or any of that stuff. Your hormones won't go out of whack, and you will never have a hangover even if you drink 2 bottles. People freak out of that one, but I'm like, what people don't understand is it's the sugar, the added refined sugar, or the Kool-Aid or the Coca-Cola or whatever you're mixing with your alcohol that gives you the hangover. It's the overload of sugar.
Yeah.
So,
I'll text you tomorrow. See,
too. It's not just the sugar. Like the booze is important part of a hangover as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm logging off. It was good to meet you all.
Thank you so much, Alicia.
You too. I'll see you guys later as well. I'm headed out.
All right, Chris. Thank you so much, brother.
Thanks again for setting up this wine tasting. This was really cool. I had a good time.
Absolutely. We'll have the official one next Saturday, and then we'll have one in the middle on Wednesday. So stay tuned.
Yep, stay tuned. Okay, Sammy, I need to come get some more wine from you.
All righty. Lisa, you know where it's at, so I appreciate you. Thank you. And then thank you so much for the drive coming down from Round Rock. It's definitely better that there's no traffic right now, but but still.
But I'm still willing to do it. This was really good.
Awesome. Yeah. And like Bonnie said, so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to talk to Richie, because the thing is, so Chris is representative from Serendipity Distribution. And so they just took on Vintite, which is the head company of the different brands that Richard owns or Ricardo owns. And so I'll tell him to see if they can ship, basically import for us, different Grand Reservas for whoever's interested, of course. Grand Reserva, basically library verticals. And so we can have something from like 2001, 10, 9, 10, 11. That could be a nice little 4-pack set or a 3-pack set, depending on what we can get. And
Sammy, what I would ask for is I would ask him if he can ship you any of his 2010 Crianza that may be available.
Okay.
Reserva and Grand Reserva. So I would do a horizontal tasting.
Okay. Okay.
Basically, the way I always do my tastings, like I said, was Cosetta Crianza Reserva, and so all the same year. So just try and get whatever he will let go of for us of the 2010, whether
That'd be awesome.
Crianza Reserva or Grand Reserva, it doesn't matter. It's a great tasting to do side by side. People freak out because they don't even think it's the same grape.
Yeah, and then, like you were saying, like to see it from the same year, just different styles of the same year. So I'll get back to you guys on that, and I think he's joining us anyway next Saturday just for shits and giggles. So that's gonna be cool. And yeah, man, jeez.
Just hearing what Ron Yates says.
Oh, don't say it yet! Don't say it! Oh!
What are you talking about? Somebody just spilled the beans. Hey, drank too much of this. Hey, man, yeah. So, anyways, all you on the call right now.
You didn't hear that.
So, we have Ron Yates coming next week. We spoke to him yesterday on Zoom call. We'll get the details knocked out. He will be on the Zoom call. It's going to be interesting. If you don't know who Ron Yates is and you ain't met him, he is a cool ass guy. Oh my God! And his winery out in what is that, High or Fredericksburg area?
Johnson City
is freaking awesome. So, and I know Bonnie knows him.
Spicewood.
And he also owns Spicewood, and
Spicewood.
He's just a cool all around amazing guy, and we're looking forward to next week as well.
Oh
Texas
yeah,
Tempranillo.
Texas Tempranillo, yes.
they just won gold too at the San Francisco Chronicle, so that's
Nice.
That's really cool. So it'll be.
Great. Well,
it'll
thank
be,
you guys. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. But it was
All right.
wonderful, and I appreciate the time, and I can't wait for the next one.
Thank you, Ashley.
Y'all have a good one.
Cheers. Man, like I gotta go rinse my hands. I got so much like Cheeto fingers, because I was like grabbing salami, cheese, chips. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. See you, Bonnie.
We'll see y'all there. All right. Well, I guess it's over with. So thanks, Lisa, for joining, and looking forward to next week.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye.
See y'all.
All right. So see you sometime this week.
All right.
Let's get it.
Try it. Finish it.
Hey, Sammy.
What's up, man?
Who won that?
I'm gonna do the live video before you ask it.